Disney Peter Pan. Adapted by Auerbach, illustrated by the Disney storybook artists. The darling children, Wendy, John, and Michael, lived on a quiet street in London. At bedtime, Wendy told her brothers stories about Peter Pan, a boy who lived far away in Neverland. Wendy knew that Peter was real because she had found his shadow trapped in their nursery. Late one night, Peter and his fairy friend Tinker Bell flew into the darling's house to look for Peter's lost shadow.
Tink, do you know where they put it?
Just then, Wendy woke up. She couldn't believe her eyes.
Peter Pan.
Wendy climbed out of bed happily.
I saved your shadow for you. May I sew it back on?
As Wendy sewed, she had many questions for Peter.
Why do you come to the nursery window?
To listen to your stories. I tell them to the lost boys.
Wendy knew all about Peter's lost boys.
Oh, yes, they're your men.
Wendy told Peter that it was her last night in the children's nursery.
I have to grow up tomorrow.
Peter realized that meant no more stories.
Come on, we're going to Neverland. You'll never grow up there.
Wendy couldn't go without her brothers, so she quickly woke them up. Then, Peter taught them how to fly.
Just think of a wonderful thought, and Tinker Bell will supply the pixie dust. Come on, everybody. Here we go.
Soon they were flying high above Neverland. Wendy thought it was the most magical place she ever seen.
Oh, Peter, it's just as I dreamed it would be.
They could see Mermaid Lagoon, the Indian camp, and even the Jolly Roger, Captain Hook's ship. On deck, the evil Captain Hook stood with Mr. Smee, his loyal shipmate. Hook studied a map of the island.
Blast that Peter Pan! If only I could find his hideout, I'd trap him in his lair.
Captain Hook hated Peter Pan. The pirate had lost his hand in a fierce sword fight with Peter. Hook's hand had been eaten by a crocodile, who liked the taste so much he followed the pirate around, waiting for more. Fortunately, the crocodile had also swallowed a clock. Whenever Hook heard a tick-tock sound, he knew it was time to run. As soon as Peter and the darlings landed, Peter couldn't wait to show Wendy around. So, John, Michael, and the lost boys went exploring, hoping to find some Indians. John was excited to be the leader.
Forward, march.
Usually the Indians playfully captured the lost boys, but this time, the Indian chief was too upset to play games. Captain Hook had kidnapped his daughter, Tiger Lily. While Peter and Wendy were exploring, they saw Captain Hook and Smee in a rowboat. Tiger Lily was with them, and she was tied up. Peter and Wendy followed the boat to Skull Rock. Hook roped Tiger Lily to an anchor and questioned her.
Tell me the hiding place of Peter Pan. You'd better talk, my dear, for soon the tide will be in.
Even though Tiger Lily knew she might drown, she refused to tell Hook how to find her friend Peter. High above the captive princess, Peter had an idea.
Watch this, Wendy.
He flew down and landed right on Hook's sword, jumping on the blade as if it were a diving board. Then Peter pulled out his dagger and challenged Hook to a sword fight. Peter even fought in midair. Suddenly, everyone heard a tick-tock sound. Hook looked down to see the crocodile licking his lips.
Smee! Help!
Smee quickly rowed over and rescued Hook. They headed for their ship, but the crocodile followed closely behind. Peter and Wendy swooped down and saved Tiger Lily from the rising water. But Hook didn't give up on finding Peter's hideout. He kidnapped Tinker Bell and brought her to the Jolly Roger. The captain put on his best pirate clothes and his wickedest smile.
Welcome aboard, Miss Bell.
Hook tricked Tinker Bell into showing him where Peter lived. Then he laughed wickedly and locked Tink inside a lantern. Meanwhile, at Peter's hideout, Wendy was beginning to miss her parents back in London. John, Michael, and the Lost Woes listened as she told them how wonderful it was to have a mother. When she finished, they all decided they wanted to go home with Wendy. That made Peter very angry.
Go if you want, I'm not keeping you here. But if you leave, you'll never be able to return.
That didn't stop Wendy and the boys. They left Peter behind and raced outside, where Hook's crew was waiting for them. The pirates brought the children back to the Jolly Roger and tied them to the mast. Captain Hook offered the children a deal.
What will it be? Will you all turn pirates, or do you want to walk the plank?
Wendy proudly shook her head.
We shall never become pirates. Peter Pan will save us.
So you think Peter Pan will rescue you, Well, we have a little surprise waiting for him.
Back in his hideout, Peter discovered a package.
I wonder what's in it.
But before he could open it, Tink flew in. She had escaped from the lantern after overhearing Hook's evil plan. She knew the present was actually a bomb left by the captain himself. Tinker Bell pulled the box out of Peter's hands just before it exploded. Luckily, Tink was not badly hurt. She told Peter that Wendy and the boss had been captured. Peter knew he had to save them.
Let's go, Tink.
On the ship, Wendy and the boss still refused to join Hook's pirate crew. So Hook ordered them all overboard. Everyone watched as Wendy bravely walked the plank first. Without pixie dust, she had no way to escape. But just before she splashed into the water, Peter arrived and caught her. Once Wendy was safe, Peter went after the pirate captain.
This time you've gone too far, Hook.
Peter drew his sword and attacked the captain. John, Michael, and the Lost Woes helped fight with Hook, and his crew was forced to surrender. All the children cheered.
Hurry for Captain Pan.
Hook made one last swipe at Peter, but he lost his balance and fell over the side of the ship where the crocodile was waiting for him. Hook swam away as fast as he could. With Hook defeated, it was time for the darlings to go home. This time, Peter decided to help.
We're casting off. Go ahead, Tink.
Tinker Bell sprinkled the ship with pixie dust, and it began sailing through the air toward London. When they arrived, Wendy, John and Michael said goodbye to their friends. They would never forget their wonderful adventure in Neverland with the boy who never grew up.